Alrighty. We're here.
I'm Ham.
And I'm Cheese.
Welcome to Ham and Cheese.
What? Our first podcast together. And
it has been a ride to get here.
Yeah, it truly has. I feel like I've kept putting this off, and I'm so sorry. But the real reason is just because, one, I just got married. So we've been doing
Congrats.
a whole lot of stuff. But then on top of that, just everything's been coming together lately with all this media stuff. It's been really fun between the Twitch channel and now this.
Oh yeah, dude.
But
you're an affiliate now. That's really cool.
It's something else. That's for sure. It's a whole new door, opened.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing is it's like, it's an open door for me. But I'm like slowly I'm taking a baby step in. I'm like looking around, all right, what's this new situation I'm in? But
if anybody can pull it off, it's you, man.
Man, I appreciate it because it's fun. It really is fun, and I want to put more effort into it. But for me, it's like I'm one of those where like I want it when I have an idea, like I want it to come together really nicely, and then like if something comes together, it's just like it just all collapses, and I'm like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. I get so frustrated, but I try to keep it together pretty well, and we've been keeping a pretty good little, I don't know, like a little theme going with our channel so far, so it's been nice.
Yeah. I love your all's 8-bit thing you got going on. And for the people who are obviously checking this out, if you guys haven't checked out our individual channels, Cheese streams over at twitch.tv/earlycurly. And I have YouTube videos over at Hey, I'm Ham. So you should check that out.
Yes, and we will soon also be uploading to, I guess this will be heard at our YouTube channel. Right, correct?
Yes,
correct.
Yeah.
Yes, correct. Which I'm still also setting up, but once again, this will be actually no, I am not still setting this up because by the time you are hearing this, it will be set up. So it is set up.
As you can see, we have everything together. We are a perfectly oiled machine.
Yes, this was all calculated. It's planned out strategically.
But I do want to say that basically what you guys are going to get for this podcast, if you're just stumbling across it, is me and Cheese, we want to be a bright spot in a very dull world. So you're going to hear us talk about things we like to talk about. You'll hear about vinyl records. You'll hear about music. You'll hear about pro wrestling. You'll hear about card games, tabletop games, video games. You're going to hear a little bit of everything. Maybe even a little bit of politics from time to time, but I can promise you this is not going to divulge into a politics podcast. That's just not who we are.
No.
So I hope that you guys enjoy it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good mix. I think one of the hopes that I have, at least, is just interesting mix of things. Just a little off the cuff, a little planned. Some things that come and go. Some things that stay along the podcast. Definitely music. But once again, I don't want to really focus mainly on music. But what would be cool is just to come around every now and again, especially with some stuff coming out. I gotta say, and I don't mean to divulge too much, but there is a lot of music that's coming out now that has been, pretty recent up until now that I've been pretty excited about. So definitely would be something cool to talk about from here, time to time, especially as stuff comes up. So that's that.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. And I know that you don't know a whole lot about pro wrestling. You check it out kind of casually, but I'm sure that there'll be times that I'll kind of deep dive a little bit and try to explain some cool stuff to you or whatever. But it's just, at the end of the day, it's just going to be two friends that just chit chatting and talking, and we want all of you guys to be part of the conversation. So
Definitely. I think one thing that I also kind of want to do is like sometimes throughout the day, and I don't know if you feel the same way about this, Drew, but like I just stuff comes up, and you see something or you read something, and you just wonder what's going on with that, and I just want to talk about that. Here's an interesting topic. Maybe we can divulge a little bit further on later. Have you heard that there's a national change shortage?
No, I haven't.
It's something strange. Like I said, I don't want to talk about it too much right now, at least. But I see it all over gas stations right now. It says national change shortage.
So is it like? Are they talking about change like coins or change like bills and coins?
I think it's just coins.
Oh well, I mean, my best guess as to why that's a problem is because in the beginning, whenever everything was going on with the pandemic, they were like, don't use coins because it's metal and it could transmit from like because it's a solid surface.
Right. Yeah.
So I would say a lot of people are just hoarding it.
Definitely. I mean, I think a lot of people do also just hoard coins. I do. I'm bad about it. I really am. I never spend my change. That's probably a reason that's the thing. Okay, let me ask you a question really quick. I wonder if this is is it a crime to let's say throw away money. Now I know that sounds pointless. Like, why would you throw away money? But would that be a crime?
I mean, it's probably one of those crimes, kind of like jaywalking, where you would never actually get in trouble for it.
Right, yeah.
So on a technical level, like in a law book, yes, probably because you're defacing currency. But
yeah.
In an actual practical thing, I don't think anybody's going to arrest you for throwing away money unless they've been trying to catch you on something for a long time and they just need something petty to bring you in on.
Yeah, or unless it's like excessive,
Yeah.
Okay. The only reason I ask is just because. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. You're good.
I was just gonna say Ariel has told me herself that she's had times where she's had so many pennies that she's literally just tossed them in the garbage.
That doesn't surprise me, but don't worry, because if you threw them in the garbage, they went to a landfill. And if there's one thing that I know about landfills, is there's probably a lot of people there stealing shit. So...
Somebody found a bag full of pennies and was like, score!
Yes!
35
There's like $1 in here.
Yeah, oh my gosh. That's like a can of soda.
But as far as pennies go, I don't think so. I don't think she'll get in trouble. However, what I was going to say is, did you know that it's actually legal in the U.S. to deface currency if you're doing it for art? If you're turning it into a piece of art.
Really?
Yeah, like if you want to cut apart like a bunch of coins and take like the presidential heads or the buildings on the back of them out or whatever,
right?
You can do that and turn it into a necklace and you won't get in trouble. Or if you wanted to paint on a dollar bill, you could do that.
Right. That's funny though, because like, okay, how do you legally define art?
Well, if you're judging by modern art standards,
right? Anything and everything.
Yep, pretty much.
There's a restaurant that we have here in town. That's like a little Irish pub. It's super cool. But they're infamous for. They've got this in the pub area that they have, like on the inside. People will like write on dollar bills, like you're saying. They'll write on the dollar bill, and they staple them to the wall. And like the whole inside, like the wall is just covered in dollar bills, with all sorts of bullshit on them.
That's cool though.
Yeah, and then like foreign currency and stuff, like all sorts of weird stuff. Excuse me. Cool story as well. The place actually flooded. I say cool story. It sucked. but the place actually flooded at one point. They had a lot of damages, so there's a lot of stuff that got ruined in the flood, obviously. But what's cool is at that time they had money, stapled all over the wall. They had enough. They took it all down. They had enough that they were able to like pay off like a huge chunk off of like.
You want to know something crazy?
What's that?
You said that was in your hometown, right?
Yeah.
I saw that on the news in my hometown.
Really?
Yeah, they ran a news story back when that happened.
Oh, that's crazy. Do you remember? Was it the actual? Was it actually? Do you know where I live, right? I mean, like the town I live in.
I mean, yeah, roundabout area.
Okay, was it? That was it.
Yeah.
That's so crazy. That's hilarious.
Yeah. It was a big news story about how they had the money stapled on the wall and the ceiling,
Yep.
and they took it down and they were able to pay off like a big chunk of the damage.
Yeah. That's straight up. Yeah, it was crazy. But yeah, and then people came back, and like once they repaired it, people came back and started putting dollars right back on the wall. You go in there now, and there's tons of dollars already on the wall all over the place.
That's cool.
Yeah, talk about like a small town little miracle. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, that's the beautiful thing about small towns, right? So, like, for those of you all listening that don't know, me and Cheese both live in a small town. I live in a small town in Kentucky. And here in Kentucky, there is not anything to do at all. Like, your choices is drive around and throw rocks at things, pretty much.
Right. You have roads.
But it's one of the safest places in the world.
Right.
Like... if a tornado comes, it's not going to hit you. Like,
right. Well, minus the cliffs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I feel that. That's kind of, and that's how it is over here as well, to a certain degree. Because I kind of live in the area, kind of at the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains. And it's it's a nice area because it's hilly. It's not too crazy. But like if you go like an hour north of me, there's literally just like roads that are just switchbacks that just go like 45-degree angles the whole way.
That's
just
crazy.
Just switchbacks. And then you drive down to like in Georgia, you drive down through Atlanta, and once you get past Atlanta and you keep going south, South Georgia, crazy enough, is basically just flat. It's just freaking flat. Like
that's where you start getting into flatland. Yeah.
Yeah, because then once you get down far enough and you get into
a beach.
Well, yeah, yeah, exactly. You get to Florida, and Florida's just flat as can be too. That's all. It's all just flat.
It just literally blows my mind though that I am right now as we speak. I am sitting on a mountain in the Appalachian Mountain Range, and you are at the foothills of this same mountain range, but we're like 4 hours apart from each other.
Dude, just take a rock and just roll it down the hill in my direction, and we'll see if it gets here. We'll see how long it takes.
I'll draw a picture of like ham on one side and cheese on the other.
Yeah. And just right, and just let it roll.
So, before we started up the podcast today, I told you that I had two little things that I wanted to get your thoughts on or whatever. Yes. And the first one is, so, you obviously stream. We mentioned that earlier, right?
Yes.
And have you ever heard of Alex Hutchinson?
Okay, that rings a bell, but I want to say it's maybe because I've heard that name before.
He was a creator on the team that made Assassin's Creed 3, Far Cry 4, Sims 2, Spore, a bunch of different games, right?
Yes. I think I might know who you're talking about.
Well, currently he is the creative director over for the Google Stadia, right?
Oh, okay.
And he made a Twitter post today that I wanted to get your thoughts on because he says... This is a quote from his Twitter account. Streamers are worried about getting their content pulled because they use music. They didn't pay for it and should be more worried by the fact that they are streaming games that they didn't pay for as well. It's all gone as soon as publishers decide to enforce this rule. The real truth is that streamers should be paying developers and publishers for the games that they stream. They should have to go buy a secondary license like any real business and pay for the content that they use.
Man, that's just insane. I mean, okay, let's think about that real quick. First of all, let's think about the music side of that just to start this whole thing off, because...
Well, see, that's why I thought it would be important to you, because he brings up music first.
Right. And that's a concept that I'm familiar with, because, if he's going to relate it to that, then let's go with that, because with music, here's what I don't understand. At least in the modern climate, at least in today's society, like how things go, how things are, how media is taken in. Let's say that. Mm-hmm. Let's say you're a record label. Let's say you're Warner Brothers or whatever. Who knows? You got tons of music at your disposal, or whoever owns the Beatles or whatever. And on the radio, it makes sense. People need to have people need to pay a license to play that music on the radio because they're playing hits. They're playing popular songs. They're playing things that people want to hear. So you're paying, or they're having to pay the label to play the music for people, so that the people will end up endorsing the the radio station or whatever, to keep playing this music, and then the cycle continues, and that generates revenue and continues the fan base and everything. That's fine. That's a market. That's perfectly, that makes sense to me.
And not only that, the only product that those radio stations are really selling out to people is that music. You come there to listen to that music. That's what it's there for.
Right. And then the thing about the radio stations as well is a lot of the times they're, it's more public than people think. Like these stations, they have to comply to a lot of rules. But at the same time, anyway, then you get into like, any public place that uses music, that makes sense that they have to pay a license to keep playing that music or whatever. But then you get into streaming, and that's where it starts to get kind of fuzzy. And like content today, here's a perfect example: TikTok. Popular music is, notoriously used on TikTok frivolously, just because it's easy and because it's what would be the word, identifiable.
Yeah.
You play a popular song, you do dance, people know what you're talking about. And I don't know, it's just funny to me, like, they get away with it, and almost at a point, it's funny, TikTok has almost given light to like a lot of these things, and like a lot of these like bands and songs and stuff, like songs that come up that are used a lot. Sometimes they'll actually start to like get up in the charts because of that. They'll get more popular. And it's like with streaming, like it's there's also a level of like say you're just like, for me, like, what if I just wanted to stream some music that I heard today, or something that just came out or whatever. The main thing for me, okay, and here's another thing about music, and I don't mean to keep going into too many tangents, but
you're good.
This is the main thing for me about music that also doesn't really make sense when he's talking about just needing a license and all this stuff and the reason for it and blah blah blah. Let's say like radio stuff, like music broadcast on the radio. Well, like, how easy is it to record music off the radio? It's super easy. People have been doing it since...
People used to do it all the time.
Yeah, since the 50s or whatever. People have been able to... Well, okay, since cassettes came out. That's really when, radio recordings became massive, because you could pop a cassette in a radio player that had a cassette deck that had record. You just hit record, and you're recording the hits of that time. You know.
Yeah.
Now TikTok is different. You know, when you're talking about like in relation to stuff, TikTok is different. One, because it's always just a snippet of the song. It's not the full song. And then in streaming, it's even further compounded, because unless you're just flat out streaming the music, which I understand it's not the best, but if you're playing it in the background, like I feel like that shouldn't be a huge issue, and I'll tell you why. Who in their right fucking mind is recording the music that someone's playing in the background of a song, or in the background of a stream, or off of a TikTok?
Dude. Like, if I want to listen to Crazy Train by Ozzy Osbourne, I'm not going to look around on Twitch until I find somebody playing it with like fucking Mario going wah wahoo wah over top of it the whole damn time, and them talking to chat. Like, I don't.
You're not going to record Crazy Train off a COD streamer so you can hear fuck you
C-130 coming in, C-130
got your ass, fuck you, dude. Fuck you, dude. Fuck you, man. Fuck you, dude. Fuck you. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Like, it doesn't make any sense,
I did tweet back at him. I replied to his tweet.
Yeah. What'd you say?
I said, 1, when we pay for a game at the store, we are purchasing, quote unquote, the license to use it. Mm-hmm. 2, most people watch for the streamer, not for the game.
Right.
3, as the creative director of Google Stadia, you just did a good job in showing every person who is a streamer why they shouldn't trust you with their career.
Well, and then I'll give you another point to make too. It's Google Stadia. That's really all.
Yeah.
It's really all you got to say about that. I
mean,
mean,
see, you want to know something even more messed up about that, though?
Yeah.
What is the first word in that name? Google. Do you think that one, Google has more money than any of us will ever have, and number 2, and more importantly, Google is mining each and every person's data in the whole world. When are you guys going to start buying a license to sell my information on the internet?
Right.
Because I would like a cutback of that money.
Yeah, it's almost akin to it's almost like they just sell our souls. I mean, if you want to equate Google to something, they're basically Satan.
Pretty much.
They just own people's souls. And with
that being said, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yes, right, exactly. We love you, Alphabet. Just kidding. No, I mean, but the problem being that it's just big business and litigiousness. And then there's just something with people being on top of the world, and I don't know, just not being able to handle that. It's weird. Here's the funny thing for me. These game companies, like these companies that put out all these games and stuff, what are they scared of? Like, what is their...
Apparently making money.
Well, I mean, I guess, but it's like, do they think that people streaming games on Twitch, their games on Twitch, are going to delve into their pockets or something?
Well, see, that's what I was thinking too, right? So I have done both of these things in the past, and I'm going to give you an example of both. One, I have watched streamers play games in the past and thought, ooh, damn, I need to play that. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then I go buy the game. But I have also watched streamers play games in the past and thought, ooh, damn, I don't need to play that. And then I don't buy the game.
Yeah.
But if you're a game developer that's saying, oh, by you watching that Twitch stream, now you're not going to go buy our game, that just means that you wanted me to buy your shitty game for full price, and now you're upset that I didn't.
Exactly. Yeah, and then, it doesn't make sense either, because, with these Twitch streamers, everybody plays games differently. And like you said before, a lot of people watch Twitch streamers for their personality. So, like, some people want to watch somebody just play a game and be bad at it, or just stupid or just get angry. Some people just want to watch people get angry at video games. And it's like...
Well, if you've ever noticed, dude, there is 3 games that are popular on Twitch. One is RPGs, which is what you have a lot of experience in.
Right.
And the reason people like watching those is because each person plays through it differently, right? Or you're watching because you need help to play the game.
Yeah.
2 is competitive online games, at which point most of the people watching that either wish they were competitive because they are not, or they are trying to get into the competitive scene, or they just enjoy watching it like football, like NFL or basketball or something.
Exactly.
The third one is speedrunners. So in all 3 of these sets, you're either going to play the game because it's an RPG, you're going to try to play the game to be competitive, or you're going to speedrun a game. And none of those, except for maybe competitive multiplayer, really are going to hurt anybody's pocket. But most competitive multiplayer games are free. Every game that you see massively be speedrun is like Super Mario 64, Mario Kart, Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, GoldenEye 007.
Nope.
And, what happened?
Uh-oh. Drew, I think I lost you. Oh? Uh-oh. What's going on? Oh, no. Drew. Hang on. Let me call you back.
I don't know what happened. I think the internet went out. Fucking shit.
It's fucking cheese.
Oh. Or his did, maybe. Hello?
Oh, there you are. Okay.
I have no idea what just happened.
Yeah, I know. That dude, it's Google. That's what it was.
Are you still recording?
Yeah, I'm still recording.
Okay. Let me back up here for a second so I can line our audio back up.
Sorry, Google got mad because we were talking shit.
I mean, we might just want to leave this in. I don't know.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's all part of the conspiracy.
I'm going to rewind just in case you want to edit it out.
Okay.
The third biggest category that we see is speedrunning. And the only time you see speedrunning, it's Legend of Zelda, Super Mario 64, GoldenEye 007, Mario Kart, Diddy Kong Racing, and newsflash to anybody out there that don't know it, but none of those games are even on store shelves anymore.
Right, exactly. Yeah, right.
So, I mean...
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense when there's no legitimate market for it. And if anything, when people stream this stuff, it actually generates a market for it. So,
yeah,
you know, and here's the funny thing too. You know, like come on. Okay, here's a good one. You remember Twitch plays Pokemon?
Yes.
So like I remember after that whole thing went down, like Pokemon saw like sales and stuff, and like
it saw a resurgence.
Yeah, there was like a big jump in Pokemon fandom, just because of that, and the main thing is because it got fairly big, because it went on for so long, and even in like what would you say, like mainstream media, there was like various coverage of it just because it was just a big thing that happened. So anything like that, like it gets big enough and people see it, and then it just reminds people. They see a Pokemon again, they see Pikachu again, they're like, oh, I remember Pikachu. Oh, you know what? I think I'm gonna go get a Pikachu doll. I'm gonna go pick up my Game Boy again.
Or some dude is on Twitch watching like the new Call of Duty, right?
Right.
And then he's like, that streamer gets done. He's like, screw it, I'm going to scroll down and see what's here. He finds somebody playing Fire Red, and he goes in and he's like, oh, dude, I haven't played Pokemon in so long. And yeah, there's a 50-50 chance where he goes, I'm going to emulate it on my computer. Or there's the other 50% chance where he goes, man, I'm going to go, and I have the extra income. I'm going to go buy a Switch, and then I'm going to go buy the new Pokemon. Do you understand how much money Nintendo just made off that dude streaming Pokemon for free?
Yeah, right, exactly, yeah. They just pretty much got a sale. If anything, what would be even better is if these game companies would actually partner up with streamers and then be able to corner the market themselves.
Exactly, man. Like, sponsor some of these smaller streamers. You don't have to just sponsor Tim the Tatman and Ninja, dude. There's hundreds of thousands of us.
Exactly. And here's the thing, dude. And hear me out. There are people in this world that I guarantee you they would not mind if Nintendo came along and told them, like, listen, you can stream, but you can't cuss, you can't do this and that and this and that. Like, it's okay. You can set some rules. That's fine. But on top of, with the rules comes the reward being hopefully that, you get some more profit. You'd be able to split a little bit with Nintendo, and then Nintendo can also back you up on some stuff. And then, like, maybe you need a better camera. Nintendo can fix you up with a better camera, and you can sponsor them and tell everybody how great Nintendo is. Dude,
a perfect example of that, like you were saying with Nintendo. You could go in, they could be like, don't cuss. We want you to take down your donation button, right? Because we're going to be paying you.
Sure.
But we're going to give you X amount of dollars. Here's a Switch. Mm-hmm. Here's Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Play that shit on stream.
Right. and then be like, but every freaking half hour, say, this stream is, sponsored by Nintendo. Go out and buy a Switch today. Blah, 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 blah,
This stream is sponsored by Nintendo. Use the code ham and cheese for 25% off or whatever the fuck, and we're not sponsored. Don't use that code. It ain't going to work.
Then it's not going to, I don't even know where you would go put that code in. But anyway, yeah. I mean, it's like, there's so much potential behind that. And here's an afterthought too, just something that I was thinking about. Eventually, what's going to happen is you're going to see there's tons of like little indie developers, popping up here and there, making games, and eventually, a lot of these developers, whether they be indie developers or they're developers that worked with big companies that have been, become jaded to it, like they
kind of like the people that work that did the game Outer Worlds and stuff.
Right. They kind of left a big company to pursue something else. Like, that's eventually going to be, I feel like what's going to happen with this stuff is these giant, massive, game companies, if they don't get their act together, they're going to end up fading away because they're going to be replaced by these smaller companies that are going to be more lenient. They're going to be more accepting of different situations and different, they're going to be more willing to give out their product to people that will, talk about it and sponsor it and get into it, at the expense of, just having their stuff out in the open. I don't know. It's like, I just don't see why, Nintendo and all these companies don't do this, but I kind of do at the same time. And the only reason that I can think that they act the way that they do is just because they're just out of the loop. Like, they're just not, they all their CEOs and their lawyers and stuff that are hired by the company, like, they don't think on the same terms. Like, they see money, they see money and dollar signs in different ways. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That was going to be my next point too, man. Like, EA, it's money, money.
Oh,
money. Print that money. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
And with Konami, it's the same thing. Konami said we're going to basically sell out all of our games to turn them into freaking Plinko machines and casino ping pong cabinets because of the fact that we want money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yep.
But all it would take is somebody like Capcom coming in and being like, no, we're going to make a good game, and it's going to be done when we release it, because all it takes is one to set the standard. Because whenever one company starts doing it that way, everybody else is like, fuck, I got to get my shit together.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, then, like, good example of that, look at Minecraft, Mm-hmm. I mean, Minecraft blew up, and it started out as a dude's project out of his basement. And then, what's crazy is then, Notch, the creator, he kind of spiraled out, because he got so freaking famous and the fame went to his head. And from what I understand, now he just holds like giant. Well, not anymore because of COVID, but he he used to hold just giant, massive parties, invite all these people over, and then he would just like kind of wander around the party and just be weird because he's just weird. He just liked to look like he was cool. But I guess the point I'm trying to make is like you know, whenever Minecraft really hit the mainstream and like every 13-year-old boy was freaking wearing bricks shirts,
Yeah.
that they got from Walmart. I don't know. I mean, you remember like there was like a mad struggle from all these companies to try to buy Minecraft. Like people were just throwing money at Mojang and Notch, just like whatever. And finally, Microsoft of course bought it up, and it wasn't exactly quick because Minecraft had been out there for a while, but it was right after Minecraft was finally released. I want to say it was right after they were finally released for like the full, quote unquote full version or whatever.
Yeah.
And then Microsoft was like, okay, so how much?
Well, it's because they wanted the work to be done.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah. So then they can just throw it on their framework, and then just like it's just it's like nothing.
I do that does take me to another question because there is the big 3 game consoles in America, especially. I know over in Japan there's probably like smaller studios that also have game consoles, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Like handhelds and stuff.
Right.
But over here we have Sony, PlayStation, Microsoft, Xbox, and then Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
And Nintendo is known as being like the people who further innovation in weird ways, but they want it to be fun. That's their big thing. They want everything to be fun.
They're the Apple of the gaming industry.
Sony is known as being like, we want to push innovation to the edge of the sword. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you look at the PS3 and they're like, you could run a nuclear factory off of this thing.
Right,
you know what I mean?
It's built like a freaking machine.
I feel like Xbox is just like the Google of video games, because they're just like, we're going to buy Bethesda, we're going to buy Minecraft, we're going to buy everything, and you will have nothing.
Right, exactly. We're just going to take everything and just...
Well, I mean, they own one of my favorite game studios of all time, and they have not come out with anything new.
Oh,
Rare.
Yeah, they bought Rare and then killed them off.
Yeah, just because they could. And Phil Spencer now, they've bought Bethesda, and he's literally saying, like, he's on Twitter and he's like, Elder Scrolls 6 doesn't have to come out for the PlayStation.
Oh my god.
It's like, why would you do that? What is the point? What are you getting out of it? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well, and it's sad too, because it's eventually what's going to happen, all these franchises, they get sold off to people who don't care about furthering the franchise. They just want to re-release the same thing over and over. So like after the freaking, third installment of Fallout Online, people are just going to stop giving a shit, and they're just not going to buy it anymore.
I feel like a fair amount of people has already stopped.
Yeah, I mean, I never bought Fallout 76. I never will. It sounds like crap. And to be honest, at one point, like, I did want to buy it and I did want to try it out just to try it out, and then I realized, like, I'm like, this it's just a waste. I mean, I've already seen it doesn't seem like there's anything new to it either. Like, I never really. That was one thing about Fallout 76 that I didn't understand a whole lot. Like, was there? I mean, I guess there's a kind of a plot, but not really, right? There's not really a plot.
There wasn't any. There wasn't even any NPCs until this year.
Really?
None.
God.
0.
That's so. It's ridiculous. And
there was also this thing that they were doing where they would put stuff quote unquote on sale, right? Mm-hmm. And it would be on sale for like $80, and then if you didn't buy it, they just took it completely off the store.
Well, and then like here's something that I never understood either about the whole like Fallout 76, and the same can kind of be said even for like Elder Scrolls Online when that came out, because when people forgot, what's funny is people forgot how shit Elder Scrolls Online was when it first came out.
I didn't.
Huh?
I didn't.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't. It was the same thing when people started having issues with Fallout 76. I did not bat an eye. I really did not. I got upset because, of course, I'm like, well, once again, Bethesda, but I'm not like surprised. I'm not like shocked. It's like it was the same fiasco with Elder Scrolls Online. And here's my thoughts. Here's my thoughts on all that. Like the Fallout, the whole Fallout and Elder Scrolls series has traditionally been, single player. You just play by yourself. Mm-hmm. And at no point have I ever really had a desire to play Fallout in like a full-on multiplayer setting. Like, what would have been better, in my opinion, is if they had just made it co-op.
Yeah.
Like that makes sense. That makes perfect sense because you still have a plot line. You still have you can still create a atmosphere and characters. You can do all sorts of stuff with that, and just give people like a 4 or 5 party max and let them run loose with their buddies and play Fallout together, but co-op. And I don't mean to keep going on too much, but the main thing I'm trying to get at is like, the whole point behind those games, at least for me, was the plot, the characters, the universe that they create and everything. And then you just take all that away and you put people together with the same textures and tell them to go and have fun. And it's like, I mean, you kind of put the kids in the sandbox without the toys. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and number one, let's get one thing perfectly straight. Neither Elder Scrolls nor Fallout exactly ran smooth as butter in single player anyway.
No, right? Well, no. No, it didn't start out on the wrong or on the right side of the bed.
They were building on a rocky foundation to begin with.
Yes. And then they put that on top of another rocky foundation. Actually, they just put that on a beach on sand.
But to kind of transition us over here in the conversation, I do want to shout out the team that made Outer Worlds. It's the same team that made Fallout New Vegas. If you guys have played Outer Worlds before, we're not sponsored or anything. I just wanted to give you this piece of news because I have been keeping up with the game. It's one of my favorites of all time. And there's a new update coming out to where they're going to fix a lot of the bugs and everything, especially for Switch. So if it's a game that you guys have been interested in playing, pick it up before the update comes out. It's coming out at the beginning of the year because that game's price is going to go up like crazy once that update comes out.
Well, and I guess you're right about them breaking loose from the Bethesda creators because they're actually fixing bugs. So, that's something.
Yeah. They're fixing bugs and adding in a couple of different quest lines for free. It's just coming in an update.
Oh, that's super awesome.
But to transition from that, I have a theory for you to try to wrap your brain around, and it has to do with a Switch game. So,
okay.
Outer Worlds on Switch to the Switch conversation.
Right.
So,
there you go. Transition.
In Super Mario Odyssey,
okay,
you can go to New Donk City, right?
New Donk City. So I haven't played Super Mario Odyssey yet, but
yeah. This isn't going to spoil anything for you.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
New Donk City, it's kind of like New York, sort of.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
And you've probably seen the pictures of it.
Yeah, I think I have. I think
where Mario is like really short compared to human people.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. I was playing Mario Kart today. And I made the realization, because I was playing as the villager character from Animal Crossing, right?
Oh, right.
They are the exact same height as Mario.
Yeah, right.
Koopa Troopas and mushrooms, like Toad, they can speak. They're sentient beings.
Yes.
And the animals in Animal Crossing are also sentient beings. So what if Animal Crossing and the Mushroom Kingdom are in the same universe?
In the same universe. Oh my gosh.
Because the humans that make up the villagers of Animal Crossing are the same height as Mario.
Right. Yeah. Right. It makes sense. I mean, they're all... It's almost the same kind of designs and stuff.
And like when you find things in the world of Animal Crossing, the little wahoo noise plays and everything. So
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I've always noticed that. That's funny that you say that. Well, it's funny. I mean, Nintendo really alludes a lot to certain universes being like loosely connected,
mhm.
and I could totally see that. Because in the same realm, like I think we were talking about this before, like Pikmin. Like I think Pikmin is also somewhere involved in some part of like the Mario Nintendo universe or whatever, but they're like just freaking small, like super super super
Yeah,
small, so you just can't see them.
they're super tiny.
Yeah.
Well, actually, that's been confirmed.
Oh.
The Pikmin in the Mushroom Kingdom thing has been confirmed by
Oh,
Nintendo.
really?
Yeah, because there's a piece of promotional art that shows the Mushroom Kingdom. It was released by Nintendo. It's officially licensed, right?
Huh. Yeah.
And if you zoom in over Luigi's shoulder on a phone, you can see a red Pikmin waving from the top of a mystery block.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Yeah,
Well,
so they are in that world.
well, it makes sense. It's funny. You can find all sorts of items from like Nintendo branded stuff. Like there's like a tube of Mario paint that you can actually find in Pikmin. In Pikmin
That's
2. Cool. And then I think another one of them was the Game and Watch. You can actually you actually find the Game and Watch at a certain point, and it's a item that you can collect.
That's cool though, man. Because like if you think about the the bug that you fight in Pikmin, the one that has like the red and white dotted back, and it's like yellow with the two eye stalks, walks on two legs.
Yes, yeah, they're called Bulborbs.
Yeah, those would only be like the size of a ladybug
Yes.
to Mario and them.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's often what I've thought is like all those little creatures and stuff. They're actually just tiny little bugs.
But that little Bulborb, it looks like what like a ladybug type thing would look like in the Mushroom Kingdom.
Right. And what's funny is there's actually tadpoles in Pikmin that fight, and the tadpoles are like just about the same size, actually almost maybe even a little bit bigger to be honest than the Pikmin.
That's cool.
Except like the purple Pikmin. I've always thought that the purple Pikmin are pretty cute, but it's just funny because they're just obese. They're just obese Pikmin.
Yeah, they're my spirit animal.
Yeah, they're so cute though. I like their little hairs.
Speaking of Nintendo, I know we've bounced this around on your stream a couple times.
Yes.
Legend of Zelda month is coming up, and you were talking before the podcast that you might have to stop a Legend of Zelda game partway through for Pikmin 3.
But then I will have to play more Zelda for Zelda month, I guess.
Yeah. Speaking of which, what got you into Zelda?
Man. Dumping them on me. What got me into Zelda? I'll say man, I gotta reach back now because I'm trying to remember the first Zelda game that I ever played. Oh, I think the first Zelda game, crazy enough, that I ever played was and I know this is gonna sound people are gonna hate me after they hear this. It was actually Wind Waker.
That's cool.
But I played Wind Waker, and I think the first time that I played it, I got really confused, and I didn't like it at first, and so I stopped playing it. But I played it, or when I got it, when I got the GameCube, I think I got it like in a bundle. I think is how I got the Wind Waker game as well, because I got Wind Waker. But it was a bundle Wind Waker game as well. It came with an extra disc that had Ocarina of Time with Master Quest as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all, technically 3 games if you count Master Quest as a separate game. But so then I started playing Ocarina of Time. That was probably one of the first Zelda games that I ever just super got into. And then after that, I think the next Zelda game that I played was I got into the Game Boy games, the Oracle of Seasons and Ages. I had both of them. and I enjoyed those a lot. But I think the reason why I really really got into Zelda was just the lore. I think like growing up, I was a huge fan of I was a huge fan of Lord of the Rings. I was a huge fan of this is kind of beside the point, but Star Wars. But it's still kind of in that fantasy realm. Even more in that fantasy realm, I'd say like there's a couple other movies that I can think of. There's one called. Do you remember the movie Willow?
Mm,
It's like
that's getting a Disney Plus series, isn't it?
maybe it's a old movie, and it's all fantasy. It's basically Lord of the Rings, like just in a different world. But
Isn't that part of the Dark Crystal or whatever?
no, it's kind of like that. It's super like that, but it's not as weird. Dark Crystal I thought was super weird. But it's sort of like
Yeah,
that.
dude. A Willow sequel is coming to Disney Plus.
Huh. I think I heard that, but I don't think I investigated more than that. I don't know.
That was also a Lucasfilm movie.
Was it?
Yep.
Huh. That's crazy. I didn't actually know that.
Yep.
Here's the thing. A Willow 2 sounds like it might have some merit, but to be honest, I hate when they make remakes freaking decades after the first movie came out. Heck, that first movie came out in like the 90s. No, I think it was like it might have been like early 2000s. I don't know. But it's all. But anyway, the main point that I was trying to make is it's all fantasy.
Yeah.
And like that was the cool thing about Zelda. That's what I liked a lot. Like he's got the sword and the shield. He's got the garb. But then on top of that, it's like all the weapons, like the boomerang. Everybody loves the boomerang and the slingshot and the arrows. And then you've got
Hookshot was my favorite.
the hook shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, hook shot's awesome too. And then, of course, you can play songs to warp to things and to do things and stuff. So, like as a kid, when I was a small wee lad and I was playing Zelda, of course, like I just had like a crazy overactive imagination. So, like in my own head, I'd just be like, "Yeah, I'm totally Link, and I'm gonna go shoot some arrows in the woods." And I had like a little like toy like wooden bone arrow set, and I'd shoot arrows at trees and stuff.
That's cool.
But yeah, I mean, like it just totally jived with me because not only that, but like it was so intricate. Oh, I do remember. Okay, one of the other Zelda games that I think I really got into as a kid, and this might have actually been before. I think this is actually maybe even before Wind Waker. I'm trying to remember. This might have been before Wind Waker. I played what's it? A Link to the Past. But I had it. Oh, that's right. I got a Game Boy cartridge. It had Link to the Past, and it had Four Swords. I think was it. Like they're on the same cartridge. And so I got that for the Game Boy, and I played that game, and I loved A Link to the Past so much. And I think part of the reason that I loved it so much is because A Link to the Past, in my opinion, is just it's a beautiful masterpiece. It's a perfect example of classic Nintendo and classic, Zelda. Like how they would theme everything. Like they fit so much into a map, and it's so intricate, and every little detail is there, seemingly for a reason. Like by the end of the game, if you have collected everything, then you've probably made your way to every corner of the map because you have to, and you go back and forth all the time. But it's really satisfying. I think that's the best way to put it.
It is an amazing game series. I was telling my wife this the other day. There's certain game series that every one of the games in them are good.
Yes, right.
Halo is one of them.
Yes.
Mass Effect.
Yes.
Legend of Zelda. Metal Gear Solid.
Yes. Metal Gear Solid. They've had their, ups and downs a little bit, but
none of them were horrible, though.
No. No, not at all.
There was never one where you were just like, oh god, that's fucking horrible. And we're not talking about. I'm not including Metal Gear Survive in that because that was after Kojima had left. That
Right.
wasn't his creation.
Right.
So, but I am a horrible Legend of Zelda fan. I'm just going to say that up front. I have only ever actually beaten one Legend of Zelda game.
Yeah.
I've made it to the end of Ocarina of Time, but never beat it.
I gotcha.
The
Right.
only one I ever beat was Twilight Princess.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
I still need to play Oracle of Seasons, Oracle of Ages, and Skyward Sword.
Oh, yeah. Me too.
But yeah, that's why this year for Zelda month on my YouTube channel, I'm going to be playing through a Legend of Zelda game. That's my goal.
Hell
is
yeah.
to get all the way through one of them. You know,
Dude, there are so many good Zelda games out there, and they all have different, traits. They all have different feelings to them. Which it's been really interesting for me because up until I've been playing Majora's Mask. Before I started playing, the only Zelda games that I hadn't played was Majora's Mask. I haven't played it up until lately, and Skyward Sword. And the only reason behind Skyward Sword as well is because that was Wii U. I never got a Wii U. Besides that, the only other games that I've never played was I never played the side scroller ones.
yeah.
And I've heard that they're all right, but it's just not, I don't know, something that I've really been interested in pursuing. The CDI games, of course, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I almost have like an ironic approach to wanting to play those games.
Okay, princess.
Right. Can you give me a kiss before I leave? No. It's like, oh my god. It's funny because here's the thing though about the CDI games that I do love. And hear me out. This is the only reason, and it's almost like an ironic love, and I hate to use that word, but truly, the reason that I love those games to a certain degree is just because of the fact that you look at like the scenes and the dialogue and all the stuff, and it's like the people that made all that, like they didn't play any Zelda games. Like I don't even think. Okay, hear me out. Here's the setup. So what was it? Sony? Or
No, it was Philips.
Philips? Yeah, Philips. Yeah, so, you've got your crew at Philips. You've just got word from Nintendo that they're eager to partner up on their new project where they're going to release, they're going to allow you to produce games on, the new console you're creating. So you've got your team out. And they're all eager because, they're bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. They're like, oh, we're going to get on this, and then we're going to get our names out because we're going to be pioneers in the area of the CDI games via Philips. Isn't everybody going to love this? And so, they're supposed to get an email from Nintendo. Nintendo's going to give them an email with all the instructions, with all the, details about the story and what it's supposed to entail and all this stuff. So they're waiting around their little screen eagerly, for this message to come through. And it finally pops up, and Nintendo, it just says, Link is the main character. He's got green clothes. Zelda's the princess. Ganondorf's the bad guy.
He's a pig.
He's a pig. and they just,
and then underneath that it says you get to make 3 of these, and you also get to make 2 Mario games. Good luck.
Yeah. And you've got 3 months. And then all the people in the
3
office.
months, and we're sending you an art studio called MS Paint.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Top of the line. Top of
You
the
get
line.
to make it in Mario Paint for the Super Nintendo.
We had to cut expenses, guys. And all of the people in the office, they all previously had like these wide grins. They're just cheek to cheek. And then they all just slowly fade into like faces of utter confusion.
Horror.
Horror, yeah. Oh god. What are we doing?
You know what's crazy about that though?
Yeah.
I know that we were joking about that whole situation, but like that was almost PlayStation's spot.
Yes. Yes. Right.
Like we were like 2 months away from that being the PlayStation.
Right. Well, and then and then about the story of how PlayStation came to be, right?
I know the whole thing about how it was supposed to be an add-on for the Super Nintendo,
Yes.
and then PlayStation was basically like, "Fuck that," and they went and did their own thing. Like
The one crucial detail is basically, and this kind of explains the scrutiny of Nintendo and why there is a culture of people that just fucking hate Nintendo, and it's understandable for this. So PlayStation was originally just gonna be like you said, like an add-on for the Super Nintendo or like another console or something, and it's all disc. Nintendo just wanted to get into the disc drive or the disc-driven games. Like they thought that was
because they had a disc system for the NES too.
Right, and they wanted to expand on that, and then they saw at the time I think like Xbox or not Xbox, but like there was was it Xbox or somebody?
No,
was
Sega.
Sega was coming out with CD stuff as well. So anyway, they wanted to get onto that because they thought that was going to be like the next big thing. Well, here's the like I said, here's the big detail is the project was running. Like they were in production, not in production, but they were they had stuff figured out. They had the console basically like
they were on the very edge of production.
Yeah, the PlayStation as you know it, the first PlayStation was basically Nintendo. Like that was basically, if you look at the PlayStation and you look at the GameCube and you look at other Nintendo products, like it looks like it could have been a Nintendo product, and it's because it almost was. And then at the last moment, Nintendo literally had a decision where they said, you know what, we're going to actually keep going with cartridges. So we're not going to do the CDs anymore. And that's actually what happened. Like they literally just said, actually never mind.
Did you see the thing where that dude found a working Super Nintendo PlayStation?
No. What?
Yeah, there was one prototype one made, right? Like completed.
Yeah, gotcha.
And somehow it got out of Nintendo and ended up in this dude's estate sale.
Wow.
In Japan, and they found it. And it's in a museum right now, and it works.
Wow. But
there's no games for it, but like the disc tray opens and closes, like it's fully functional. If there was a game to put in it, it would run it.
You got to give that to a modder. Get this to work.
Well, the stupid thing is they did the exact same thing on the Nintendo 64. The Nintendo 64 was supposed to have a disc system.
Oh, gotcha.
The N64 DD. And the crazy thing is it released in Japan. There was games for it.
Yeah. I think I heard.
We never got an actual release here.
No, of course not. That sounds about right.
Mario Party 2, Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time were supposed to be the two pack-in games with it.
That's
because
crazy.
The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time was supposed to originally be more like Master Quest, but it was going to be set up in a way to where every time you loaded in the game on a new save file, the dungeons were randomly generated. So that's what the disc system was going to do.
Oh, gosh. Wow, that's crazy.
So, like, you wouldn't go through it the same way every time. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it just ended up falling out. But they found one here in America that had been made, and it had a freaking So with the disc drive games, if you get a Japanese one, all of the games are the same color as the N64 cartridges. They're like that slate gray color.
Okay, right.
The ones that are like pre-production test games are blue. They come in a blue cartridge.
Oh,
and
yeah.
The disc is inside the cartridge. It's kind of like a giant floppy disk, sort of.
Oh, okay. Huh.
And they found an American one that had that in it, and they even found the game that was in it.
Oh, wow. They were able to
rip it. It was F-Zero. Yeah.
So it makes you wonder.
Isn't that cool though?
Makes you wonder, like, was there any differences between that and the regular release?
Yeah, plenty. There was plenty. There was racers that were cut. There was cars that were cut. There were tracks that were cut. Certain audio that was cut, because obviously once they narrowed everything down to the regular cartridge, they had to cut a lot of stuff up to, because there wasn't a lot of space on the cartridges.
Right. Yeah, that was a big limitation. I remember with a lot of the old cartridge games.
Yeah, but there was even a version of Resident Evil 2 that was supposed to come out on the DD that was going to have like the full motion video, like complete in its PlayStation type form, instead of in the very compressed bit rate we have with the cartridge.
Oh wow! I mean, to be honest, if you think about it, it's still a wonder that the Switch has cartridges. But to be honest, those cartridges are pretty much just well, they're pretty much just keys, aren't they? I mean, they're pretty much just keys that have, like the basic files to run the game on,
Well, see, I had this idea, right? I had an idea for a system that I was going to draw up at one point. It would be a box, kind of like an Xbox or a PlayStation, so it wouldn't be like the Switch where it's like portable and home.
Right.
But it was going to have 2 slots in the front. One was going to be a storage for a hard drive or solid state drive to be your memory card, basically, right? Like to hold all your stuff on it.
Right.
But there was going to be another slot for these. It would basically just be solid state drives, but they would be low capacity solid state drives. So each one would only hold like 100 gigabytes or 250 gigabytes or whatever it needed, right?
Gotcha.
But the developers would put the game on these solid state drives and you just plug it in and then play it.
Right.
So it would be kind of like going back to cartridges, but updated.
Yeah. The only thing about gaming now that really sucks is, and hear me out, like, back in the day, a game would be released, and that was it. It just got released, and then you played it, and that was the product. And now, the industry is so rife with games being released, and then patched later. And it's such a prevalent. I think I say it's an issue. I think it's an issue. But whatever you want to call it. But it's prevalent with everything. I mean, things are released all the time before they're ready, and then patched along the way. And it's all a sales ploy, because what they want to do is they want to get as many sales as they can quickly, so that then they can have money to pay off all of the stuff that they've been trying to do this whole time, so that they can then, make profit or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, I guess what I'm trying to get at is, I wish that companies would go back to that state of like just releasing a game, just straight up, and just having it done and just releasing it as just one game. And then, hear me out, man.
Make a sequel.
Well, okay. Yeah, that too. But what I was going to say is, if there's bugs, then, so be it. And it's like, I understand, like, more modern games, there's a lot more that goes into it. So there's a lot more bugs that can happen. But the whole point is, you beta test all this stuff first. And you get people to sit down and play it and check it out and make sure that it looks
Literally,
good.
Their job is to try to break it.
Yeah. There's people out there that they know how to screw games up. There's people out there that have played so many games that they know the problem areas and they know how stuff works usually. So like, you get people to beta test it, you make sure that it looks good, you release it when you're finally happy with it and everything checks out, and then if some bugs come along the way, then hopefully they're not that big, I guess. I mean, it just comes down to like, if you've done enough work, I feel like if any bugs do come along, they should be something small. And honestly, a small bug here and there, it just adds character sometimes.
Well, not even that though, but that's what would make the whole patching thing make sense, right? Because we've already moved into the era of where you can patch games online.
Yeah.
If you work on the game and you finish the game and you release it, and then on level like 4-2, there's a thing that makes you die at random.
Right.
Fix it and put a patch out that's like 20 megabytes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right. Yeah, instead what they do is they slowly tweak, and then they like kind of cut things here and there. Man, one of the worst examples of all this is Pokemon Go. I mean, part of me doesn't even want to go into the fiasco of all that, but at the same time,
Pokemon Go to the polls.
Yeah, Pokemon Go home, gamer girl. Well, like it's just with Pokemon, the main thing for me was problems would arise, and their department would literally not release anything. It'd just be radio silence, and then an update would come out, and then something would be radically different, and everybody would just be completely confused. Like when they had the tracking system at first, where it was supposed to tell you Pokemon that are close by, and then like it broke. So then they just said fuck it, and they did something completely different, and then everyone was like, "Well, what's this new thing? Like what? Why is this here now? Like I don't understand why you, why'd you do that?" So
and if we're on things that grind our gears, man, like you talking about the whole patching thing, another thing that freaking kills me and drives me insane is I can drive to GameStop and I can buy a video game. And I would say local game store, but we only have a GameStop.
Yeah, right.
And I can buy a video game, and I can come back and put it in either my Xbox or my PlayStation, and I still have a 60 gigabyte download.
Well, and then
it's like the whole reason I bought the disc is because my internet is slow.
Well, and then the part of that too, funny thing is like that also shows you the disconnect. Like a lot of times that's because since the game was put out on disc to the time when you put it in and actually started it up, there's been like freaking 500 updates. So then they have to give you it all at once and give you this big old patch so that the game will even run,
It's so stupid.
Yeah, and I don't know. And then you have like stuff like DLC, Like DLC has always confused me because it's like I understand giving the opportunity to a customer to get more from a game, like, oh, hey, we're gonna put a whole new patch in. You're playing Skyrim and you want to get the whole new, area. Oh, then $20, $40, whatever, and now you got this. It's like, I kind of get that, but at the same time, dude, like, hear me out. Just release a solid full game that you're not just adding piece by piece onto, and if you do have other ideas of like other things, maybe put those together and release a whole nother game.
I'm okay with DLC in two circumstances. One, if it's just useless, like fruity shit that don't really matter to the game. Like you want this shirt for your character, you want this sword, pay us $2. You know what I mean? Like that because it don't really matter.
No, right.
But or if it's like a full expansion, like if you're going to give me 100 gigabytes worth of crap, I'll pay you $30 for it. You get what I'm saying? Like
I want a whole new game, basically. Like I want something.
Give me Skyrim and Skyrim plus. Like
Right. Like you want bang for your buck, basically.
Yeah, like make a half of a video game, and then charge me half of a video game's price for it, and add it to your previous video game. So now my $60 game is worth $90.
Right. Yes. Yeah, and that makes sense. But then you have stuff like freaking EA, where it's like,
oh my god,
everything is DLC. Like freaking Star Wars Battlefront or whatever. That's probably the biggest freaking bombshell that I've heard in a while. As far as like pay to win type stuff goes, because it was literally basically pay to win. Like I think that was,
oh yeah, definitely.
I think that was one of the first times that I could look at an EA game and just flat out say, this is basically just pay to win, because you just pay to be freaking Darth Vader, and then, I mean, isn't that how it works? Can't you just pay to be a character?
Basically, yeah.
I mean, it's
not anymore. On Battlefront 2, they changed it because so many people got upset. But in the beginning, yes.
Right. Well, it's good that they did that.
I do want to touch on two more things before we wrap up for the night.
Okay.
Number one, have you heard the news about NBA 2K21?
No, I haven't. No.
It is a $60 game, right?
Yes. Okay.
It has unskippable ads in it.
What?
Yes. When you start up a basketball game or in between the quarters of a basketball game, it plays an unskippable commercial.
You can't see me right now, but I'm just grabbing the front area of my forehead right between my eyes, just because that just gave me a migraine.
Yeah.
That's nut. I mean, so like, nobody's getting paid for that ad, I mean,
what no, that's the thing. And like, see, 2K, they make the wrestling games as well, right? And they put advertisements in wrestling games, but they don't do commercials. So, like, it makes a little bit more sense because, when you choose an arena, so, like, say you choose, like, WrestleMania, right?
Right.
It'll say WrestleMania, Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar or whatever, and in the corner it's like, this match is brought to you by Snickers.
Geico.
But that kind of makes it feel more real because that's what they do in real life anyway.
Yeah, definitely. Right. That makes sense. And the branding is there because it's
Snickers
just
paid them a fortune.
Yeah, it paid them for. Yeah, and then that, and it's like it's familiar, you know, and it doesn't get in the way. It's just something in the corner, and you're like, oh hey, Snickers, you know.
Yeah.
But when it's literally like an ad, like here's the thing about ads. When I watch an ad, it's because I'm waiting to watch something else. Like I will sit through an ad so that then I can continue on with a video that I'm watching. I'm not about to be in the middle of a video game and then have to sit. I mean, I'm already sitting, but sit back, put my controller down and watch an ad and be like, okay, come on, I mean, it's like at least do that during the loading screen, maybe, or something. I don't know, like
like I could understand it in the loading screen if it's like it's like the Knicks and the fucking LA Giants or whatever the fuck, like brought to you by Gatorade, like,
well then it's the funny thing too is it's like, so okay, I hope these ads are something that's going to be relevant, in a couple years or something. I hope it's not like, oh yeah,
Raid Shadow Legends,
Shadow Legends. Or like, oh, get a mask here, get this is advertisement for face masks, and then 5 years later people are like, ugh, please don't talk about face masks anymore,
or I could also understand if like you had ads for your other sports games, if that's what you make as sports games. So it's like while the game's loading, you're like, oh, you enjoying this basketball game? Why don't you try our hockey game? You know what I mean? Like,
or just something goofy, like an ad that's like just goofy,
like a spoof of an ad,
maybe like a spoof, or just like I don't know, but like just a straight up ad. I don't know, and then like I guess it's just the same ad over and over. That seems annoying.
No, there's
not the same ad.
There's a couple different ones.
But but they don't program more ads into the game, do they?
Oh, I think those are coming in updates.
Oh, right. That's what the updates are for.
Yeah, fuck
updates. All the updates in the update logs. It just says added more ads.
Added an orange juice commercial.
We've added
removed Snickers commercial.
50 new ads. Yeah, you remember all those ads that you actually didn't mind so much? We took all those out. We replaced more frustrating. They're actually all political ads now.
Yeah, you're playing basketball. The Spurs and the Knicks are going to be playing in a minute, and if you're going to vote this year, like
John Ossoff was caught lying and stealing, cheating. Get rid of John Ossoff. And you're like, I just want to play basketball, man.
I play these games to get away from that.
Yeah. Get John Oss off my screen, dude. You can John Oss off yourself.
But as bad as the ads are, this one is even worse, and I think this is going to be the one we'll end on, if that's okay with you.
Okay.
Call of Duty is in trouble
Ah,
because they have been purposefully making their maps too big. Like, they're basically rendering full cities like Grand Theft Auto, right?
right.
Simply so it takes up more space on your hard drive so that you cannot download anything else.
We've commandeered your hard drive. Only
Like,
Call of Duty.
That's what it's for. They made it to where you cannot download you have to go get a separate hard drive if you want to have Fortnite and Call of Duty. You know what I mean? Like,
God. So why even bother with a game that size anymore?
I don't. I deleted Warzone because I didn't have room for anything else.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's funny when people are like, I always do that when I'm looking through my stuff and everything, and I'm looking at games that I have saved. I need to make some space, and I look at the biggest games first, and then I see how like massive they are. Like for the longest time, I had like all the Dead Spaces saved on my computer, and then like Fallout, all the Fallout games, and Bethesda games like Elder Scrolls and everything. And then like one day I'm like, why do I don't have any space anymore. And I'm like, well, yeah, it's because I have like Morrowind and Oblivion and freaking New Vegas and Fallout 3 and
Grand
Dead
Theft Auto
Space
4
1, 2,
and Grand
3.
Theft Auto 5.
Yeah. And it's like, I've already beat these games. I've got them saved in Steam, so I'm just going to delete them off my computer until I want to play them again. And it's like, I think the point I'm trying to make is Call of Duty is kind of just asking for that. They're asking to be that game that people are going to play for a minute, and they're going to be like, okay, well, I don't really want to play this anymore, so I want to play some other games, and they're going to realize, okay, well, Call of Duty is the biggest game on my hard drive. I'm just going to delete that so I can play 50 other games with the space that I saved,
Well, see, like, that's the thing, too. I'm sure that the team at Call of Duty, they're like, oh, yeah, fuck, we're going to make our game so huge that, like, people love our game, so they're just going to play it and nothing else. Right. And what they're forgetting is it's a video game, and it's not fucking heroin.
Right.
So,
right. I think that they're all freaking ego tripping over there. They're like, oh, people just want more Call of Duty. That's all these kids want. They just want to chug their Mountain Dew and shove Doritos in their face and mash buttons on Call of Duty all day long. And it's like, yeah, they do, but they also don't want your stupid bullshit. And if here's something that here's something that I think a lot of these companies underestimate about kids is they get tired of crap really quick.
35 seconds. That's how long it'll take.
No, I mean, yeah, you're straight up correct. You're straight up correct, because it's like the second that you throw something in the way of a kid, and you're like, "Oh, sorry, buddy, but if you want to do this, then this and that." That kid is gonna find any other way that he can, he or she or whoever to do something. I don't know, like they might be a huge Call of Duty fan, but then if they want more Fortnite and it's between Call of Duty and Fortnite, and Call of Duty is taking up more space than Fortnite would, I mean, I'm just saying it's all down to like
Well, they're also shooting themselves in the foot, right?
Yeah.
Because basically what's going to happen with a lot of these kids is they're going to go, oh yeah, Call of Duty's good, but I'm going to delete it because it's taking up too much space so I can download whatever X game that new came out just recently is.
Yeah.
And then they're going to want to play a Battle Royale game again in a couple days, and they're going to go back and try to download Call of Duty, and it's going to be like, this is 1,000 gigabytes, and they're like, fuck, I can download Fortnite for like 13 gigs.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
well, and then on that same thought, they're going to look back at their other games, they're going to say, oh, you know what? I like all these other games. If I have to delete all these other games to play this one game, then I'm just going to keep all these other games. Yeah. I mean, that's what I would think. You know what I mean?
With that being said, I want to leave us with a little teaser for the next episode that will be coming out.
Ooh.
The next episode, one of the topics we need to talk about is next-gen consoles.
Well, and I do have one question for you, real quick. Just I did want to get your thoughts on this because this is one thing that I was thinking about today that just popped into my head. I think we might have talked about this before a little bit, but what are your thoughts on Nintendo cracking down on the missing link creator?
Dear Nintendo, we understand that you created these games. We understand that they are your IPs. When somebody looks at The Legend of Zelda or Mario or Donkey Kong for that matter, which isn't even your IP, but whatever, Metroid, or hell, Kirby, they don't think Xbox. They don't think PlayStation. They don't think random dude who makes ROM hacks on the internet. They think Nintendo. Unless you are going to make a new game that falls in between Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, and you want to not have that story be mudded, or right. Unless you're planning on re-releasing Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask and you don't want people to get confused,
right? Then
leave people the fuck alone. It's the same as streaming. People are going to play The Missing Link because they have already played Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask and they like Legend of Zelda. The people who are looking out for these ROM hacks have already played your fucking game.
I know. And God. Yeah, I think I agree with you too. I think the only way that I could justify Nintendo, in my mind, justify them doing something like that is if they had an idea for something between the two series. But here's the thing. I fucking doubt it. I doubt it. I really do. I doubt it. And the only reason I say that is because the games, one, here's the thing about Nintendo, what they do with these games, a lot of them, it's just open and shut, you know? They get done with a game and they move on, and if they want to come back in with something, you know, a lot of the time is they come out with a whole new game and they just slap some stuff on top of it, which is fine with me, you know? That's actually acceptable. I can accept if they change stuff a little bit later on in different games, but they keep the old ones the same. But
I get that.
But yeah, like the big thing for me is like it's just a slap in the face sometimes, honestly, to the community.
Yeah.
And you know, I wish that I don't know. I had another thought about that and it slipped my mind. but
I do have an answer though.
Yes.
That will make you happy. It would make me happy. It would make any Nintendo fan, especially those with a Switch, happy. Nintendo needs to create a program called the Nintendo Creators Program.
Yes.
You give these people the tools to make Mario games, Zelda games, Kirby games, all of your IPs. Just let them have a field day, and then take the good ones, like Missing Link, and put those fucking things on the eShop for $5 a piece, and penny pinch the shit out of people, and I would buy 10 copies of it.
or in the same vein of thought, do it like they did with the Mario World Maker or whatever, to where it's like it's just all on one game, and you come in and you find them, you search them by name or by gamer tag or something, and you can find maps that people make, and then it's as easy with Nintendo as they limit the what am I trying to say, the textures, the assets.
Yeah.
You know, they limit what the people can use. They you know, you give them a little bit of you give them some
freedom.
Space. Yeah, some space to move around with that. You know, you can change some colors here, maybe rearrange some textures a little bit, maybe make them bigger, smaller, you know, certain stuff like that. But, you know, and then like limit the text chat. You know, you can't have people freaking putting, you know, shit ass piss, you know, yeah, exactly, and stuff like that. Yeah. But then there you go, boom, problem solved, and then you can have it all. And then okay, here I'll tell you what, Nintendo. If for whatever reason you have stumbled across the Ham and Cheese podcast and one of you...
Hello, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. Hello, and thank you for everything, by the way.
And listening this far, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. You actually molded my childhood up until now, so thank you.
Mine too.
But just a quick little thing. You know, if you do this, you know, my like I said, the reason I'm coming to you, Nintendo, and saying this directly is because this should fit into your little plan. I mean, that's kind of how Nintendo. That's how you guys run everything. It's all very modular and very contained
but also
very,
whimsical and fun.
Huh? Yeah, I mean, it's like for all ages kind of stuff, and it's like, so wouldn't that work out much better? Wouldn't it be much better if you could put the missing link into a little module, a little basket, that way that you can have it contained and you can address it yourself, and you can kind of go in and make sure that things are appropriate and they're up
and
to Nintendo
you make
code.
the money off of it,
right? And then here's the cool part. Then Nintendo can go on from there, and maybe one day they could take some of this stuff and actually make it canon. Or
you could, as Nintendo, because you're going to be running the service. I mean, basically what we're saying is look at RPG Maker, because that's already on the Switch, and just do that. And then you can pick through the games, because you have to approve them, right? We're going to set up a thing where they send them to you and you have to approve them. And then if you get one like the missing link that's like really, really, really good, you get in contact with the guy that created it and you say, here's $10,000 and we're going to give you 2 more team members. Make a game.
Right, exactly. I have another point to make, by the way, just out of the
you're good.
recess of my mind. So Nintendo, if you are litigious enough to take down a massive project that is, loved by so many fans, that was groundbreaking in the realm of, Zelda projects and everything, if you're willing to take that down, can you please take down some of this weird freaking porn of Zelda characters and shit?
What?
I don't want to see Wolf Link freaking riding the shit out of midget, Midna.
Yeah.
These images should never even come across my. They should never even be on the internet. They should be. The minute that they are drawn, the user's hand should wither away. Like, get these things off the internet.
Nintendo. What my friend Cheese here is saying is things like the missing link, things like the Return of Samus that came out a few years ago that you shut down.
Yeah.
Those are love letters to games that you made because they love you, and the people who made the games love you.
They're works of passion, of love.
Meanwhile, there's people who are taking your assets and making them fuck each other.
Yeah.
But that's okay, apparently.
And somehow that stays on the internet and just never goes anywhere. It just stays, and people talk about it. And I've watched Elvis the Alien talk about it, and I wish I had never watched that because it totally just ruined it for me. But yeah, it's just funny. I mean, but I get it. Because, Nintendo probably doesn't want to have to sort through piles of filth every day and remove it all. But if they're going to be removing...
They had the Me Chat channel, so... They used to have the Me Chat channel, so don't tell me that they ain't willing to go through piles of shit every day.
Right, exactly. Oh, Lord, the Me Chat. Ugh. And then that was just a freaking... pardon my French, but that was just a pedophile garden, just like
that was a pedophile breeding ring is what that was.
basically just like, I don't know, direct line to Jeffrey Epstein's palace.
But to wrap things up for me and Cheese, Nintendo, we love you and we love your games.
Yes.
And all we want is for you to love us back.
Yes. Listen, Nintendo, they've got their head on their shoulders in a right enough way. Their products, they're good. They're always good. They have, everybody has issues. We can forget about the Joy-Con drift for right now. Whatever.
I can't because mine doesn't.
Yours doesn't.
I said I can't because mine has it.
Oh, it has it. Ah.
Yes.
See, I never got it on mine, but then it started on Ariel's. But all I'm saying is, they still have the right path. They're doing stuff. They're actually making good headway. A lot of the games that have come out for the Switch and everything have been bangers. And I'm happy with the direction. But here's the thing. Just as easily, they can start wobbling off that path. And that's what I'm scared of. And it's like,
oh yeah,
as long as Nintendo, stays, with their realm, with their stuff, maybe slow it down with the Pokemon. That'd be my only suggestion. Like, cap it off. You've got 1,000. That's fine.
Listen.
Go back to the catalog.
Pokemon has come and everybody loved it and it's great and I love it and maybe you need to take a break. There's Metroid and F-Zero that haven't had games for fucking ever. Right. Maybe we could get a couple of those.
You remember Chibi Robo?
Yes, I never got to play it, but it looked fun.
Really? Oh my gosh. I love that game. I beat it and it's such a good game.
Shout out to Scott the Waz, by the way.
Oh, did you see it on his channel?
No, he did a video on it not that long ago, though.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, great game. It's like Nintendo. Just re-release Chibi Robo on the Switch. I know that sounds far-fetched. I know that sounds like almost a ridiculous business plan. But listen, I would buy that. I would buy that in a heartbeat. Just like
you would buy me a copy too.
Yes. I would also buy Drew a copy just for the sole fact that I just want him to play the game so bad. But that being said, I guess it's just the point being like they've got such a catalog. They've got such a fan base. They've got so much that they can work with, and it's like just keep working with that. You don't got to push it
Earthbound?
too much. Huh? Earthbound.
Like Earthbound?
Yes.
You have a fantastic RPG series just sitting there and you're letting it rot.
Ugh, yeah. Well, and Metroid, of course.
Oh, yeah. And listen, I'm not saying that the Metroid game has to be like Super Metroid or like Metroid Prime. You could make a Metroid RPG for all I give a flying shit.
You know what? To be honest, I've always wanted. And this isn't Metroid, but as far as Pokemon's related, and this would be a perfect example of like something Nintendo could totally do. Like, just go back and open up some of the maps. Like, they've remastered the old games. We've got Fire Red and Leaf Green. We've got Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire.
I want Fire Red and all that. At least
Soul.
on a VC.
Well, hear me out. What about...
yeah, I'm listening.
What about, just a, I don't know, Pokemon, collection edition, or I don't know, but first 5 regions, totally remastered, all in the same map. Some of the new Pokemon added in, but most of the Pokemon of those regions, just do that. Just do that. Put that on the Switch. Kanto, Johto, Hoenn, Sinnoh, whatever the 5th one is.
I can one up you on this.
Yeah.
Everybody plays Pokemon for what reason?
Well,
mostly to battle their friends, right?
Battle, and then if you're Ariel, it's so that you can get all the cute little Pokemon and play with them. Okay,
well we can do 2 things here.
Yes.
Pokemon Stadium fucking 3.
Yes. And with Pokemon Sword, dude, you know what's funny? I feel like you just looked into the mind of a Nintendo representative, because that's totally something that they've got to be in the work for, because I don't know. See, here's the thing about Pokemon Stadium is the whole point was it was so that you could take Pokemon and put it on a console as opposed
Yeah.
to a handheld.
Mhm.
So I don't know if they're ever going to do another Pokemon Stadium because the Switch.
Pokemon Stadium 3 would be perfect, though, man. You could put all of the Pokemon on there, right? Because each one only has like 4 fucking moves, and it's just basically a sprite, right? So you could even do it in the art style of Pokemon Sword and Shield. I don't even care if it's like 3D, but do Pokemon Stadium and then give us the little minigame section again, and you've pretty much got a bestseller on your hands.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and it'd be so easy. I think the main thing for Nintendo, and I'll say this, just as kind of my kind of ending thought on Nintendo a little bit. The only thing that I've noticed about them is they don't tend to release stuff just right off the cuff. Like I think they've done that a couple times here and there, but for the most part, Nintendo's pretty notorious. Like they won't do that outright. Like they won't just release something again unless they have a huge demand for it. Which even then, they've had huge demands for some stuff that never gets released. But I think the main drive for them is like, for whatever reason, they just have this obsession with they've always got to do something new. So like if they remake something, there's got to be a gimmick,
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I don't know why they have to do that, but I get it. I think that they want to go above and beyond every time so that they can keep shooting above and they can keep, kind of getting that upper edge or whatever. I think they just do that so that it's like, we're still Nintendo,
Yeah.
But it's like, come on, guys, just release some good stuff. Just make it a good game, but like, don't give me fucking 300 more Pokemon. I don't need that. Like I don't need that. I don't even know. I've been playing Sword and Shield. I don't know any of these Pokemon, and it sucks because like Fairy type. Oh my god, I'm so confused. I had to look up all the type settings again and try to go through and memorize them again. And then I realized, like, as I'm playing, it actually tells you in the moves whether or not they're super effective. Like, it tells you underneath the move if it's going to be super effective or not. And I'm like, God, at this point, I don't even know.
They should have left the Pokédex alone after Diamond and Pearl.
Yeah, and I'll say, there's some good Pokemon that came out a little bit after, and, they've had some good ideas, but it's like, guys, how many of the same normal and flying fucking bird Pokemon do we need? How many of the same goddamn Pidgey? It's just Pidgey fucking 7-8 times over. It's serious, straight up. And how many times have they done the same 2 fucking bug Pokemon or whatever?
Caterpie and Weedle.
Yeah, that have a freaking metamorphosis. It's like, dude, we know. We get it. You've done this before. And I think Nintendo's doing it again just so they can just do it again. I don't know. It really confuses me sometimes when I really try to think about it.
Listen, man, the farthest I would have extended it out would have been Black 2 and White 2 because those were good games. Mm-hmm. But I think after Black and White, maybe they should have just like dropped it and went like, okay, we're going back to the original 3 and we're just going to make them HD remakes.
Right. Now, here's one thing. I will say one thing that just popped in my head that I do like that they did with the newer games. Like, they started doing this with the one that's supposed to be like Hawaii. Alola.
Yeah, Alola.
The region differences. Those are kind of cool. I'll admit.
Well, see, that was refreshing.
Yeah.
But you were talking about earlier, like they had 1 or 2 good Pokemon that come out each, generation and stuff.
Yeah, right.
You could have totally still had those come out, man. Like, personally, I really like the Pokemon Litwick, right?
The little candle ghost dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you remake Fire Red and Leaf Green again, just like sprinkle him in there as a surprise. Here's another Pokemon.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Or right. Yeah. That's not a bad idea. Just like add some new Pokemon in here and there. Yeah, I mean, I could
Well, it's
totally
like
see.
you could even add like so you end up going to the one area. What's it called where all those like dead Pokemon are at? You know what I'm talking about? The tower.
Oh, Lavender Town.
Yeah, you go to Lavender Town in the remake for the Switch, and then as you're climbing up Lavender Town, boom, here's Litwick. What the fuck is a Litwick? He's a new Pokemon.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. Or you go through the game and you complete something, and you get towards the end of the game or something. Maybe you complete the Elite Four, and all of a sudden, you get a news broadcast. We've been seeing sightings of some unusual Pokemon that were not previously known to the region. Blah blah blah. Like they've done stuff like that.
Or it could be a thing where like they remake Heart Gold and Soul Silver again, right? And then you beat the Elite Four, and when you go to beat the champion, your rival, he has a Pokemon that you've never even fucking seen before.
Right.
And now you can find it.
It would be another really cool idea, and we keep going on tangents, but it'd be nice if they had something where, like I was saying before, with like give them like the first 5 islands or whatever. What if you could just go through them in succession?
Yeah,
like back to back
beginning
to back.
to end, and carry your team with you.
Yes, and you see, here's the thing: you can kind of do that, but it just doesn't feel right when you go from like red. You can go from like red to blue. I mean, not red to blue. You can go from like red and blue to, gold and silver. You can take the same Pokemon and trade them over. You can't actually trade from the Pokemon from Gold and Silver to Ruby and Sapphire. I learned that a while back. I thought that you could at some point, but you can't. But it's like every time that you go into a new game, it's like a whole new game. You're just starting over. And then there's the side plot, and you have to fight some team whatever, Team
Aqua Magma Rocket.
Yeah, team outer space. Team fucking 420. I don't know. But like what would be nice is just a straight up linear successive Pokemon game. You start out in Kanto, you catch some Pokemon, you beat the gym leaders, you beat the Elite Four, you get to the end, you get a ticket. Hey, guess what? Now you're going to Johto. All right, nice. Now we start off in Johto, from where we picked up. And I can kind of see
But everything in Johto should be like harder.
Yeah, that would be the
Pokemon.
only thing is you'd have to progressively make it harder, and you would have to try to make it to where their Pokemon don't get completely leveled up before you progress, because you don't want people to have like all level hundreds by the time they get to the 3rd island or something. You know what I mean?
I mean, part of me thinks that they should just leave it open-ended so you can if you want to. But I feel like part of me also thinks that it's like, when you're in Johto or whatever, it's capped at like level 60. They just can't experience past that. You get what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Or maybe it's something about like when you go to the next island, you can only carry so many Pokemon from that island. And you can only maybe the storage systems are separate, so you can only have so many Pokemon from that island come over at any given time, or I don't know. There's limitations you can put in place to make sure that people don't just beat the whole game in a day or something.
But with that tangent out of the way, I think it's time to wrap it up.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, I'm kept looking at the clock, and this is probably a good time to go ahead and do that. But
thank you guys so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you everybody who stopped by to listen, and to anybody who is watching right now, please, if you would not mind, if you would just do me a small favor, see that subscribe button? Yeah, just go ahead and click it. Just give it a click.
That's all we ask. You don't have to hit a notification bell. You don't have to hit anything else. Just hit the subscribe button.
Well, I mean, you can hit that notification bell.
If you want to.
I believe in you. I believe in your power to hit the subscribe button and also hit the notification bell. But I'll tell you this: if you just hit the subscribe button, you'll still receive my love. So, I mean, take it or leave it, I guess. You know what I mean? But I gotta say though, man, this has been a great first podcast.
I agree.
I definitely need to kind of think of some things to talk about for the next one.
I do know for sure that they'll have to join us again next time, because we're going to be talking some about next-gen consoles and the rumor of a Switch Pro.
Oh, yes. That would be nice to talk about, because I have heard about that as well. And then, maybe we can expand out some more. And then maybe next time what would be nice is maybe I'll try to do maybe like a small segment on like an album or something.
Yeah.
That came up. Because I've got some stuff that I've been thinking about lately. I just had a new King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard album pop up
Sweet.
on my list of things to come out. They're coming out. It's a new album coming out in November. So, not anything soon, but at that point, I will probably be talking about that a lot.
Well, join us next time, guys, for some more laughs and good conversation. And until then, I've been Ham.
And I've been Cheese.
And we'll see each and every one of you guys next time.
And we love you, Nintendo.
Love you, Nintendo. Love you guys, too, viewers. Bye.
Yeah. All right. Bye, guys.